Yeah, it was announced that Leonard Hankerson is being interviewed for the wide receiver coach position, a much needed upgrade there to get somebody in there that can upgrade the position.
Yeah, I mean, and at the same time, Mark, it's just like having the inside linebackers coach. Okay, Charlie Strong is a pretty good darn linebacker. He's a pretty good DC, but he just so happened to be a DC and coach linebackers with someone else. And are we going to say that he's not good because our linebackers didn't play well? So it's also the scheme, it's the philosophy, it's the fit, it's being able to teach it in a smooth transitional way. So it's a lot of factors that goes into wide receivers and position coaches and different position coaches, offensive line, running backs, wide receivers, defensive end, linebacker, where these coaches that have a specific group of young men to succeed. Now, the wide receiver position at Miami, I mean, you talk about some of the best players in all of college football have worn that U and have played the wide receiver position. But that's the past. Long are the days is Ken Dorsey coming off of a play action, throwing a deep bomb to Andre Johnson. Long are the days of Santana Moss taking a post route against Virginia Tech to the house. Okay. And even more recently, a guy like Stephen Morris being able to come off of a nice play action out of the ace formation and hit even a David Njoku at tight end or a Philip Dorsett on a bomb. Okay, so it's been a while since we've really seen the wide receivers or remove tight end and things of that nature really boom in the orange and green. Now, could you point to that being someone else's fault? Could you point to that being a lack of recruiting? Could you point to that being a lack of development? Either way, all of those things have not clicked to where a position group that is historically among the best has really dropped off. You may not talk about Miami offensive line. You may not talk about Miami defensive ends. But when you think Miami Hurricane wide receivers, some of the best to ever put on cleats and a pair of cleats and some pants and a helmet have done it here. So there's a lot of excuses or reasons why things haven't worked out. But what I like to see is that Coach Cristobal is addressing a big issue, and that was finding a scheme, presumably, and we'll get into that soon, talking about Coach Dawson, but a scheme that will show what these wide receivers can do for the orange and green.
Nothing wrong with Leonard Hankerson's last season at Miami. 2012,
Yeah.
72 catches, 13 touchdowns.
He broke Michael Irvin's touchdown record in a single season. I don't think that's been touched again since then. Oh, well, no, I think Rambo broke that too. Rambo had a really, really good last season at Miami, but for the longest, Leonard Hankerson had held on to that. And that also comes from the fact that Leonard Hankerson took it upon himself to make himself great, Mark. Don't know if you know this story, but I want to look it up and make sure I get the coach's name right.
Charleston Rambo did not break that record. He caught 79 passes. I think that might be the record you're thinking about, Rambo.
Okay.
But the touchdown record, no, he did not
Okay.
break.
There was a special coach, and I can't find the article. Somebody in the chat or in the comment section, help me out. There was a coach that Leonard Hankerson went to going into his last season at Miami, and he knew that he was not getting the coaching that he needed at Miami. So he went to a private coach. He was having a super underwhelming career up until this point, and then boom, pops. I mean, he couldn't catch anything, Mark. He goes and finds this private coach, and now he's able to, he almost had, he had a very record-breaking senior season at Miami due to that, or last year at Miami, as far as what he brought to the table. Now, in the years of me doing this, Mark, we've had 4 different wide receivers coaches. I've come on and I've overhyped, and this is no shot at Hankerson. This is just the position period. We had, is it Statterfield, or is that the head coach for Louisville? The wide receiver coach for Penn State that came down to Miami in 2019.
Stubblefield, right?
Stubblefield. There we go.
Who used to play for Purdue.
Yeah, I get those two mixed up a lot. So Stubblefield, right? I came on, Mark, and you pull up the film, and I'm like, oh, he's going to teach him the technique and the hand placement and how to look the ball in. And we reflect on that. Before that, you had now the current wide receiver coach up at Tallahassee and a former really good player for them. Um, why do I always go blank on names? Bald
That's
headed brother.
Darian Higgins, right?
Yeah. Coach Higgins. Yeah, he was here. And the wide receivers at Miami had some good stats, but the consistent hands was not there. They were amazing blockers, but not the best hand wise. Had issues with that. Then Rob Likens. And it looked like Mark, we couldn't drop it if we tried. Unless we were playing UNC or Oklahoma State or Mark Pope or D. Wiggins was on the field. Then yeah, we
Those are the
couldn't catch the
first two
football.
guys I think of.
Jeez, man. Wish them the best though. Hope they're doing okay in life. But as players, anyhow, we had a nice spark where you saw what the spread can do, what that position looks like, what it's like to see people like Rambo, and then sometimes to see people like JT, Jeff Thomas, and Amon Richards, and some of these guys. Dugans, thank y'all, appreciate y'all. Dugans was the
Yes,
coach.
Ron Dugans. Yeah.
Ron Dugans, there we go. Appreciate you. Okay, Will Scott, we got it. We fixed it. Thank you. Appreciate it. Neither one of us want to sound like we're wrong, so we definitely appreciate it. But Rob Likens comes in, and him and Coach Rhett Lashley, their combination of what? The true spread. Now remember this term, spread, because we're going to get into a different terminology. We'll talk about the air raid in a second. Now, there's a difference in the two based on philosophy to my knowledge that I will explain here pretty soon. But in the spread system, it was about the receivers and always having somebody open and running level routes and things of that nature, and mixing a little RPO with De'Aaron King, and then even mixing a little air raidiness when Tyler Van Dyke came in, which is why in 4 games he almost touched 3K, because we were just letting that thing fly. Okay. And then we got what we got last year. I think our leading receiver had 300 yards, and we were ranked 119th out of 131 teams, and we averaged 19.5 points per game. And then people wanted to point fingers at the talent. And when these same guys the year before, I guess they magically forgot how to play football in one offseason, Mark, when some of those players the year before were doing very, very well for themselves. And then this year, now they're not smart enough to learn the playbook and they suck. So there's that for you.